Yeah, already.
So, those of you who don't know me, my name is Randy Elmore, and I'm currently the leadership team chair or administrative chair for the rest of this year. My 3-year stint is up at the end of this year, so my 3-year sentence is going to be over. No, it's been a joy working with Jerry over the last 3 years. So when it came time for Jerry to leave, I thought, well, I wanted to put together some things, some memories. Maybe kind of like I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do over the next month and past that. And then I will say we're going to honor Jerry a little bit. Maybe have a little fun, maybe not too much. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about this baton. I want to mention this in the message here in a minute. But this baton is obviously symbolic. And it's as Jerry mentioned, it's symbolic, handing off from one pastor through the church and into the next pastor. So we're going to have some fun with this over the next month. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but likely every group is going to get their opportunity to with some time with this. And if nothing else, you're going to pray over it. Pray over for the new pastor. Pray over for our church. But there's going to be some other things that I think we're going to have some fun with this baton. So kind of get used to seeing this. We're probably going to use it in some of the church services, but then in Sunday school and some other ways. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. And then on the first Sunday of July, John Thompson is then going to present this to our new pastor, basically finishing the relay. Okay, so I've got some things I want to share. And I'm going to apologize right off. I'm probably going to be reading a lot, and I apologize, but I guess if it's good enough for President Biden, it's good enough for us, for me to be reading. I promise I don't have any thing in my ears. Someone else coaching me. So I want to start off with a question. And I want you to ponder it for a little while, and then we're going to come back to it. And so the question is, can a blind, oaky preacher/fisherman really lead a successful church in Amarillo, Texas? So we're going to come back to that. Maybe we'll answer that in a bit. First, I want to go over some history. Jerry's already talked a little bit about it. I'm wondering if Jerry has seen my notes that I prepared. There's going to be some things that we're going to talk about that he mentioned before. But so the Raabs, Jerry, Jennifer, Jacob, and Josiah came to what was then St. Stephen's United Methodist Church West in August 2020. Jerry came as the associate pastor for St. Stephen's and was assigned to us as a full-time pastor. So we've always known him as a full-time pastor, although he was really, for the first few years, not necessarily he worked full-time, but he didn't have the title as full-time. Stan Cosby, the senior pastor at St. Stephen's campus, had known Jerry and Jennifer from their time in Oklahoma when he was in Oklahoma conference, and was very instrumental in getting Jerry and Jennifer here. In fact, by instrumental, I mean my understanding was it was his decision to make, and he made it on Jerry, and so he was very instrumental in getting him to come. And he sent me a note this week, and I wanted to read that. It says, Jerry Raab, friend and colleague. I first met Jerry and Jennifer as prospective members of my church in Mustang, Oklahoma. Jerry was a teacher in the high school, and he and Jennifer soon became active members in our church. After I was appointed to another church, Jerry began to explore the possibility of a career change into the call ministry. So what an honor then to be part of the ordination service in Oklahoma City years ago. And then to have him later as part of our ministry here in the Northwest Texas Conference, first at St. Stephen's, and then as pastor at Faith Southwest. It has been a wonderful collegial journey. And I had to look up the collegial, right? That just means shared journey. My West Texas education didn't cover collegial. Jerry and I shared many common interests in history, a strong support of the military, and conservative ideology. It's been a joy to know Jennifer as well as an incredibly talented person, inspiring mother, and supportive wife. And then to watch the sons grow up into talented and accomplished young men they become has been a real blessing as well. So I wish the Raab family the very best as they return to their home state of Oklahoma for continued work in the kingdom. Very nice. So, as you mentioned, Jacob and Josiah, I'm going to mention them a little bit. We saw them grow from young boys into young men. At the same time, we were watching our young church go from a stepchild subsidiary of a larger church to one of the most successful growing churches in our conference. So how did we get there? Well, I asked Jerry a few weeks back, a month or so ago, to just kind of tell me what all, remind me what all we did over the last 10 years, and he started rambling off. I couldn't write fast enough. He knew all. So I caught a bunch of them. I want to list some of those here, and I think you'll recognize a lot of these. I think a lot of you will be would have been involved in that. So the first vacation Bible school, according to him, we didn't have a vacation. We never did have it. Regardless of what the name of the church was, we never had vacation Bible school until Jerry came. The children's Christmas pageant, Scout Sunday, Fun Day Sunday, the Easter and Thanksgiving meals, the Passover Seder meals. We had Musty the comedian come. Unfortunately, I missed that. That was sort of a pretty good time, I understand. We introduced the 200 for 200,000 mission teams. And I remember there was somewhere, our goal was 20. We got about 15 or 17, something like that. I didn't write them all down, so a few of them I remembered, the letter writing, the shepherding, wheelchair ramps, and I know there's some ladies that were crocheting and presenting some of that too. Back did several community gardens. One of the other 200,000. We've gone out to some other places, food banks or whatever, helped their community gardens. Just a couple of months ago, we helped out the scouts, went to one of their scout camps and helped them clean up an area for a chapel. We've had a lot of local things to do. There were many more than that, just a few that I thought of. International mission projects. We had the Guatemala medical mission trip, the Belize Church construction mission trip, and we've helped out in other ways. We had the Guatemala Orphanage Bed fundraiser. We just did that 3 months ago. And of course, we always do the Operation Christmas Time. And one other item, we had several others, but one that was a little bit different that I consider this an outreach program. We hired a part-time associate pastor, Lupe Acevedo, fresh out of WT Wesley program, and a little green when we got it. So he grew into that role. In fact, if you recall, he took his first appointment in the conference was actually in the New Mexico conference. He lives in Texas and preaches in New Mexico, in the New Mexico conference. And Lupe did send a nice note as well. He said, "Jerry, thank you for taking a chance on a young buck fresh out of college. Your mentorship and advice has been invaluable throughout my ministry. And I'm excited for what God has in store for you in Oklahoma. May He bless you and Jenny as you make this transition and start a new chapter." And last, but certainly on this list, certainly not least, and what I would consider the biggest and most important happening for our church in the last 11 years, 2015, we raised over $300,000 for the purposes of demerging from that large church, St. Stephen's, becoming our own church. In May of 2016, the demerge was official. The formation of Faith Southwest UMC, remember the Northwest Texas Conference, was completed. On Pentecost Sunday in May of 2016, approximately 175 to 180 members joined that Sunday, that one day, either by transfer of membership or as new members. And in June, at the annual conference, Jerry was then assigned as the senior pastor of Faith Southwest, getting the recognition that he already didn't have much new jobs. He was already doing the same thing, but he just got a new title. So I would ask all of you, if you were involved in any of these events, some of you may have seen some pictures up here a while ago. If you were involved in any of those, I'd ask you to raise your hand. I'm raising my hand, the rest of you raise your hand. If you're involved in any of these events, I ask you to hold your hand up for a second. Now look around the room. Look around the room. See who else is holding their hand up. How many of you are holding your hand up? Bunch. All right? Okay, take your hands down now. We'll come back to that in a minute. So you can see it's been a pretty successful 11 years Jerry and Jennifer have led us through. So earlier this year, when Jerry informed us that he and Jeannie needed to be back to Oklahoma to be closer to their family, I heard some of the church wondering, how are we going to do without Jerry's leadership? We don't know how to do it. Never done it before. He's been here ever since I've been here. If you've been around the Methodist Church more than a minute or two, you understand that pastor moving is common. In fact, it's very common. And Jerry mentioned it earlier, we've been fortunate to have him for 11 years. Jerry's been a great leader some of these times, but I would ask, who else has been involved in those good times? Yeah, look around. Remember those hands were raised? We were all involved too. We were here for those events. And we helped these make these great times. So although we're going to miss Jerry and Jennifer and fully understand why they need to move, we are going to be okay. So by all reports I've heard, our new pastor, we're getting a very accomplished pastor coming to us at Faith Southwest. Mark Welshheimer and family. And while it may be a little unorthodox for him to move from another Methodist church in town, it doesn't happen often, he has been a very successful pastor at several other churches. In fact, we are lucky to get such an accomplished pastor. And we're not going to skip a beat. We're not going to let that happen, right? We're going to continue our outreach activities locally and internationally. And we're going to continue the hosting events that will help us recover from a tough pandemic year and begin to grow again. You know what? We got this. Let me say that again. We got this. We're going to be just fine. We're about to enter a couple of transition periods. So for the month of June, we're going to be without a pastor. And then beginning in July, March coming, beginning of ministry. Back in April, the conference invited the South Press Relations Committee and the leadership team to join a webinar relating to transition of pastors, kind of a new program they're involving churches in the Northwest Texas Conference. Beginning of it started with combined meetings earlier this month. Then a few weeks ago in church services, some of you remember we had a video introduction from Mark. That was really the start of the transition for us. John Thompson, I don't know if he's still here or not, with our chair, SPRC chair, he's the head of the transition team. He is head of the SPRC, so he's the head of the transition team. And over the next month, we'll be introduced to Mark's family a little more. I'll learn more about them. And also during the month of June, the church laity. And by the way, if you don't know who the church laity is, that's me and you. It's all of us. We'll be leading different portions of the service. And additionally, in June, instead of having visiting pastors, Jerry didn't know at the time, but he left us the plans for a little party gift. And so he helped set up areas where we're going to have testimonies internally from our own people about different topics, different subjects. He didn't know at the time when he first presented this to us. We didn't know at the time when he first presented that to us. Fit right in with the transition plan. Fit right in with what they were recommending. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to discuss youth and children, missions, evangelism, and hospitality. So you're going to hear just a reminder the next meeting. But July, we're going to welcome to the first Sunday on July 4th. Another holiday, saying goodbye to Jerry on a holiday. We're going to welcome our new pastor on a holiday weekend. The best good turnout on that. So I understand the throughout July into September what the transition this are going to is there to us. We've got titles of those covering those and we're going to have meetings tomorrow. Things that we asked. And things that are important to us. Now, that doesn't mean he's not suggesting changes, and it's very of that change. It's going to be that 2-3 month period, 100 days after Mark comes for that. So there are chairs. You may those to join those teams to share knowledge about the team that you join. You can have that opportunity to join. We want to get everybody on all of them, but that's going to be happening over the next couple of months. We talked about what we're doing for the next month or two. After the guys leave, they're not gone yet. Right? They're put out the door, they're not gone yet. And a lot. I don't know, maybe Jerry got the big head the last couple of minutes. So we're going to have a little fun with you about it. Not too much. I promise Mom I'm not going to beat him up too bad. That opening question. Can a blind teacher/human lead a successful church in Emerald, Texas? Dig into that. I'm going to make sure that I don't stumble here, but I'm hoping that most of the words that I'm going to talk about are adjective. Jennifer, whether English will correct me if I'm wrong here. But the first adjective I wanted to talk about is blind. Most of you know here's blind Jerry on top. The church. I was wondering if they were needing to make some accommodations. You know, as part of the church, blind preacher. He's going to have a cane. He's going to have a seeing eye dog. They didn't. They're not going to know what's hit him when he gets there. But I want to discuss some other areas, go in a different direction a little bit. Talk a little bit about blind people that are mentioned in the Bible. We all know Paul was an unbeliever before he was blinded by Jesus for the 3 days of Damascus. And when his sight was returned, he became a great prophet. He was an unbeliever, but a great prophet. Great in that transformation. Other great men in the Bible lost their sight, but blind were not treated well in biblical times. I'm not saying they're great today, but they weren't treated well at all. Unfortunately, most had hard lives, forced to depend on others for their kindness to get by, and we know there were a lot of them that were healed. They sought out Jesus to be healed. It was thought at the time that blind that either your parents or yourself, you'd done sin, an unforgivable sin against God, to be blinded. But in John 9:3, we learn that Jesus and the disciples came across a blind man, and they asked that question. That Jesus, neither this man nor, get him head of my house, instead of myself. They asked Jesus, said, who sinned? Was it their parents, or was it this person that is blind? And Jesus responded, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him.